Kenneth R. Kratz. Guess what? I would like to refer you to Exhibit 004, RAB4 DOT affidavit. You're familiar with the document. Wisconsin Department of Transportation, Jim Doyle, Governor. Frank J. Nah, I'm not going to try that. No. Kenneth R. Kratz, Calumet County Attorney's Office, District Attorney's Office. R.E. in reference to Sam William Henry, 582, in the name of Teresa Marie Halbach, 12 West 2627, Country Road, B. Hilbert, Wisconsin, registered to a 1999 Toyota truck, identification number John Tom 3 Henry Paul 10 Victor 5 X-ray 7113044, license plate. Okay, enough of that. I'm not going to go into it. No. You see, Kratz, it's like this. Everybody's fooled. But me. Now that you've gone back to your files and you reference Exhibit 004, the dot affidavit, means only one of two things. Teresa had a second RAV4. Three things. Teresa had a second RAV4 that she knew about. Teresa had a second RAV4 that she didn't know about. Or that's fraud perpetuated on the court. Now, it's not a second RAV4 that she knows about. Okay? She didn't buy a second RAV4 in her name. Somebody else bought a second RAV4 in her name, and that's supposed to be maintained on file. No. No. Oh, wait a minute. Actually, could be. Thought about that. But you don't have that in evidence. I got you, Kratz. Exhibit 004, RAV4.TOT. You fucked up. You fucked up, dude. And you're going to crawl into Stephen Avery and crawl into Brendan Dassey for fucking mercy. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. You had no clue what the fuck you were doing when you typed that sucker up. You typed in what you thought was Teresa's bid. But in doing so, you've proven that it's not Teresa's bin. Yes. You see, when Mike Halbach picked out the photograph to use to give to Jerry Pagel to broadcast at WB2 News, they showed a 6P3 deep jewel green RAV4. Okay? But that then does not come back to a 6P3 deep jewel green RAV4. it comes back to a 760. Now, what does 6P3 and 760 have in common? Well, they both start with numbers. But what did Nicole and her mother, Pamela, find on Adriana Salvage? They found a K95. Yes, that's a K95. And how we know it's a K95? Because it's a K series in Toyota color and trim paint codes. You're not familiar with paint codes, are you? No, you're not. And you're getting an education now, Kratz. So you typed that up and you said that that was an accurate record maintained by the department. Well, why don't we have the actual records instead of your word for what they maintain? Because they don't maintain that. That's why. They cannot maintain that, Kratz. You see, the vehicle maintained by the Department of Transportation is a bin corresponding to 6P3 deep jewel green. And that bin does not respond. It's not referenced as a 6P3. It's referenced respond to 760. There's numbers involved here, Kratz. And the numbers don't lie. So you can go teal, blue, you can doctor photographs to make it look more blue. You can do these things, and you did. But in doing so, you're committing fraud upon the court. You see, Ken, what you did is you convicted Stephen Avery and Brendan Dassey for a bin in your dot record that is detached, bent, and not in factory condition on a K95 RAV4 Adriana Salvage. And neither the bin nor the vehicle belong to Teresa. Teresa has a 6P3. Now then, there's a phone call from Bondi's Quick Mart, so it says. But it's not from Bondi's Quick Mart. It's from Lake Orchard Farm Retreat. Calling in a vehicle at 20:05 hours, 300 feet from the entrance of Robert Herman, Cleveland Auto Salvage and Sales and Salvage, whatever. Ken. And that was on the 3rd of November 2005. And it was handled by an officer that cleared it, but didn't put any information in as to make, model, license plate, nothing that you would expect in a report. And Andy Colburn made a call, license plate, Teresa Hambach. And he made that call from Bondi's Quick Mart. Babe Remaker logs in Teresa Marie Halbach's vehicle as being seized in this case and is in Manitowoc County impound, which is in the back lot of Cleveland Auto Sales and Salvage in Cleveland, Village of. So I know where Teresa's car went. It's in Cleveland Auto Salvage. It was impounded by Manitowoc County Impound on the 3rd. As a matter of fact, before WBay News broadcasted. And what did Mike Halbach pick out? He picked out a 6P3. What's sitting at Bondi's Quick Mart? A 6P3. What's been brought into, seized as evidence, but a 6P3. So we got 6P3. Mike Halbach, 6P3. Sheriff Pagel, 6P3. WBay 2 News, 6P3. Bondi's Quick Mart, 6P3. Andy Colburn called in a license plate, which isn't Teresa's either. That license plate's got too many stickers on it. And where you fucked up is there's no renewal since 2003. And this is 2005. There should be 2 stickers on it, and there's not. It's minusing 2 stickers. Little things like that that we pick up that you overlook makes this case a fraud. It's nothing but a case of fraud. We got 6P3 up in Cleveland Auto, seized as evidence in this case with Teresa Marie Halbach's name on the same piece of paper. Everything north of Cleveland Village of is all fraud. When you have Mike Halbach standing there champion the cause, and he picked out a 6P3, and you presented a K95 with a 760 bin, Mike Halbach didn't blink an eye. He went with it. That's now his sister's vehicle. And he knew, and the entire Halbach family knew, sitting in court, that that was not Teresa's vehicle, but they said, mum's the word. And they allowed Stephen Avery and Brendan Dassey to be convicted, and they played along with the charade. If Teresa was dead, Mike Halbach would not have been champion Stephen Avery and Brendan Dassey in the prison. So, ultimately, beyond reasonable. He's always up there making a statement, and he's just bashing Stephen Avery, and it was all a lie. You presented in court a K95 as evidence, and presented in court a 760, and you put them both in court at the same time, but having only one owner. And neither the VIN 6P3 nor the vehicle K95 belonged to Teresa at all. Because you falsified, completely lied your ass off on Exhibit 004, RAV4 dot affidavit. There it is. Now, Kratz, since you know the law, nothing about vehicles, but you know the law, what does fraud upon the court, Federal Rule 60, do to the conviction of Stephen Avery and the conviction of Brendan Dassey. Maybe Keller, Zellner knows. Knight Rider, do you know what Federal Rule 60 does to Brendan Dassey's case? When you have evidence that the prosecutor, Kenneth Kratz, falsified a document, and that document is proven false, it voids the conviction. Now, doesn't it? Drizzen. Huh? Dean. Jerome. Right? So, in effect, what happens is these two convictions are void, like you would rip up a check. It's non-enforceable. It's not binary. Okay? You have two people, Stephen Avery, Brendan Dassey, that in true legal form have not been convicted in a court of law. Those convictions were toilet paper. They're not convicted, but yet they're imprisoned. Boy, you guys created yourself one hell of a problem. That's not Teresa's bin. And those photographs that you put in of the salvage yard, of the vehicles in Wisconsin State Crime Lab being processed, all that, yeah. They're not Teresa's vehicles. They're just pictures of RAV4s. Teresa's never been in any one of them. Teresa didn't even know about any of them. You got the totally wrong vehicle. Pam and Nicole were right. I don't think this is the vehicle. But you went with it anyway. And you didn't know what you were doing. But I do. I do know what you're doing. When you typed in, that's Teresa's VIN, you did not get that off of Dot Records. You wrote that in. Dot Records don't have that. Go get Dot Records for Teresa May Halbach. I was told that Lemieux Toyota, some guy came in from the state. It was a state agent that came in and grabbed Teresa's records, and they didn't get the hard copies back. But they got it on server somewhere. Kenneth Kratz, here's what I want you to do. I want you to go free Stephen Avery and Brendan Dassey upon your own volition. And here's the reason why. I want you to go to Lemieux Toyota and ask them what vehicle did they actually sell Teresa, because this bin is not Teresa's bin, and these pictures of these vehicles is not Teresa's vehicles. And I want you to go back and investigate the bait RAV4. Not a theory, but a fucking fact, dude. The bin does not match the vehicle does not match Teresa's vehicle that was given to Jared Poggle. So the vehicle picture that came from Mike to Sheriff Poggle is Teresa's vehicle. Those vehicles that you presented in court and convicted these two individuals for are not the individual photograph of Teresa's vehicle. They're not. They're different. K95 with a 760 bin. Okay? Then I want you to go to bininfo.com and type in that bin. That bin's globetrotting all over the place. How can that bin be globetrotting all over the place and yet be in Hickory Hill storage at the same time? It can't. Okay? So basically, what you did dumbass, is Vogel, Kastort, and Peterson were going to frame Stephen Avery. But Herman and the rest of Manawha County and the deputies at Calumet County were not going to set Stephen Avery up. So the frame-up theory is, sure, Vogel, Kastort, and Peterson, yeah. There were only 3 men that wanted Stephen Avery, that asses were in the sling, by the way, that wanted to frame Stephen Avery. Robert Herman didn't want to see him frame Avery. Lieutenant Link didn't want to. Colburn didn't want to. They're all over the place planting shit, and you can't convict an individual for a vehicle that has a VIN swapped on it, and it's a K series, not a numeral series, RAV4, okay? It's a bait RAV4. And you convicted these people on the bait RAV4, and they were not trying to set Stephen Avery up, but sabotaging the setting of Stephen Avery up. Bobby and Scott are involved in the sting operation to not set Stephen Avery up. What's Bobby pushing a blue RAV4 when Teresa owned a green one? Not tunnel vision, no. You were tasked with a job, convict Stephen Avery. Brendan Dassey, collateral damage, you didn't give a fuck. But you weren't after justice for Teresa, my ass. You were there to get a conviction, hell or high water. And that makes you an enemy of the Constitution of the United States of America. And I just fucked you.